What happens when one of Hollywood's most beloved actresses is insulted behind her back? And the only person who hears it is Keanu Reeves. At a star-studded event, Sandra Bullock became the target of a cruel comment, whispered by a powerful producer. Most people would have ignored it. Most would have stayed silent. But not Keanu. What he did next left the room in complete silence, and showed the world what real character looks like. This isn't just a story about fame or friendship, it's about respect, loyalty, and a moment that changed everything. Stay tuned, because by the end of this story, you'll see Keanu Reeves in a way you never have before. It happened backstage at a high-profile Hollywood event, one of those glamorous nights filled with flashing cameras, designer gowns, and carefully curated smiles. Sandra Bullock had just finished walking the red carpet, dressed in a classic black gown that shimmered under the lights. She moved with grace, smiling warmly at photographers, waving at fans, doing what seasoned stars do best. But behind the scenes, away from the glitter and applause, a different scene unfolded. A well-known producer, infamous for his arrogance and biting remarks, leaned toward a younger actor standing beside him. With a smirk and a dismissive tone, he whispered just loud enough to be heard, "She's overrated. Honestly, Sandra doesn't deserve half the roles she gets." His words sliced through the atmosphere like a cold blade. A nearby makeup artist froze, stunned by the casual cruelty. But she wasn't the only one who heard. Keanu Reeves, who had just arrived and was making his way toward the dressing rooms, caught the comment too. He didn't say a word. Not yet. He paused, eyes briefly narrowing, his expression unreadable. He turned his gaze toward Sandra, still glowing from the red carpet. They had history, real history, and something deep within Keanu shifted. Rewind to 1994, the year Speed hit theaters and unexpectedly became a cultural phenomenon. At the time, Sandra Bullock was still carving her path in Hollywood. She had talent, no doubt, but she hadn't yet earned her place as a household name. Landing the role of Annie alongside Keanu Reeves was a major break for her, and many assumed she'd simply play second fiddle to Keanu, who was already known for Point Break and Bill and Ted. But when the cameras rolled, something electric happened. It wasn't just the high-stakes action or thrilling bus sequences, it was the undeniable chemistry between Sandra and Keanu that audiences couldn't get enough of. What fans didn't see, though, were the tender, unspoken moments off-camera. Sandra would crack jokes between takes, easing tension on set, while Keanu listened with quiet admiration. They laughed, supported each other, and acted like lifelong friends, even though they'd only just met. In a later interview, Sandra confessed she had a crush on Keanu, calling him kind, thoughtful, and the type of man who remembered your coffee order after hearing it once. Years later, Keanu admitted he had a crush on her too. But instead of romance, what grew between them was rare, pure, unshakable mutual respect. Back to the event, the energy in the room buzzed with celebrity chatter and flashing lights, but Keanu Reeves' focus was fixed. From across the room, he watched Sandra Bullock, still smiling, graciously interacting with fans and colleagues, completely unaware of the insult that had just been spoken behind her back. But Keanu had heard it, and unlike most in the industry who would have shrugged it off, he felt a quiet fire building within him. He wasn't someone who often spoke out in public confrontations, but this was different. With calm, unwavering steps, Keanu approached the producer who had made the remark. The atmosphere subtly shifted as people nearby sensed something about to happen. Keanu's voice was steady but firm, cutting through the noise with clarity. "Sandra Bullock is one of the hardest-working, most talented people I've ever met. She doesn't chase fame. Fame follows her because she's earned it." A hush fell over the group. The young actor the producer had been trying to impress stood frozen, eyes wide. And then Keanu added, "If you can't see that, maybe you don't belong in a room with real talent." Without waiting for a reply, he turned and calmly walked toward Sandra, who remained blissfully unaware, but not for long. Word traveled quickly. It wasn't just that Keanu Reeves defended a friend, it was the way he did it, with grace, humility, and sincerity. In an industry known for its brutal competition and backstabbing politics, where many climb the ladder by stepping on others, Keanu had always stood out as an anomaly. He didn't play games. He didn't chase headlines. And he certainly didn't speak up unless he truly meant what he said. That's what made this moment so powerful. He wasn't grandstanding or trying to be the hero of the night. He simply couldn't stay silent while someone belittled a woman he knew to be deeply talented and endlessly kind. Sandra Bullock didn't hear about it until later that evening. A stylist quietly shared what had unfolded behind the scenes, expecting Sandra to be surprised. But Sandra just smiled, calm and unsurprised, and said, "Of course he did. That's Keanu." It was a short sentence, but it spoke volumes. Inside, though, she felt a warmth she couldn't quite explain. She had known Keanu was kind, but this gesture reminded her of how rare that kindness truly was. He didn't have to stand up for her. No one expected him to. And yet, he did, simply because it was the right thing to do. Years later, both Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock remain beloved not just for their work on screen, but for the kind of people they've proven themselves to be off-screen. Their fame has endured without scandal, their reputations built not on publicity stunts or gossip columns, but on quiet integrity and genuine talent. They've never dated, never used each other's names to generate buzz, and yet their friendship has become legendary. It's built on mutual respect, understanding, and something even more rare in Hollywood: consistency. In a recent interview, when asked if he'd consider working with Sandra again, Keanu answered without hesitation, "I'd do a romantic comedy with Sandra in a heartbeat. She's amazing." Sandra, hearing that, laughed and replied, "Only if he brings the coffee. He still remembers how I like it." That simple exchange captured the heart of their bond: warm, familiar, and deeply rooted in authenticity. The world may never fully grasp the depth of their connection, but one thing stands out clearly. When someone tried to diminish Sandra, Keanu didn't turn away or stay quiet. He rose with grace and defended her dignity. In a world full of noise and self-promotion, sometimes the boldest thing you can do is speak with quiet strength. That's not just friendship. That's character. Sparkles, if this story moved you, inspired you, or made you see Keanu Reeves in a whole new light, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Speech balloon, drop a comment below and let us know what you would have done in that moment. Bell, and if you love true stories that reveal the heart behind the headlines, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell, so you never miss a moment. Folded hands, thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes the quietest voices make the loudest impact.